Okay, so 5 minutes passed and I thought a lot of thoughts. I couldn't sit here without thoughts. And I think that's why it's so hard for us to meditate. Perhaps our mind is like any other cell or organ carrying on its duty unconsciously without our input needed. Like our heart beating, like our lungs breathing, the mind just thinks unasked and without input on our part. This would make sense most of the time, except there are instances where we can seem to be able to focus, concentrate, and direct our mind using our spiritual will. And it is the spiritual will that it is the seat of intention and choice of our stream of consciousness. So, what is going on here? Perhaps the mind can function both involuntarily as well as willfully. We've just never noticed the difference between the two, making this distinction as a colossal revelation in your hero's journey. Once fully ripened, this newfound awareness will awaken you to a paradigm of epic empowerment. Once the mind's behaviors are seen for what they really are, the life will never be the same again. The mind is a wonderful servant, but a terrible master. Like money is a wonderful servant, but a terrible master. So, what has the mind been up to when you're not paying attention, and how much of its incessant chatter has been affecting your perceptions, experience, and mood? Have you ever really listened to your own thoughts? Some of it is coherent and focused, but most of the time it seems to just be happening. The inner dialogue goes on constantly and attempts to narrate every single moment of your life, whether you want to hear it or not. It rambles on naming things, creating assumptions, and giving its opinion moment after moment, all to give itself the false sense of security that it is in control and that it is a real identity. The task at hand is to start to become aware of this constant dialogue that is happening inside your head and separate yourself from it. Become curious as to what each new moment might feel like if you could just turn the voice off. Why are those people looking at me? This is so embarrassing. I'm not good at this. I knew this would happen. She thinks she's so perfect. Oh, so annoying. That was so stupid. I shouldn't have done that. They should mow their yard. What's the point of trying? This is so depressing. Why hasn't he called me back yet? Maybe he's busy or maybe he doesn't like me. I hope I don't get sick. Wow, she's so sexy. I never have any money. I hate this. I can't wait to party this weekend. This is taking way too long. They should hurry up. Wow, people are stupid. Screw them. I probably impressed them. Of course, they're interested in me. I'm definitely the most attractive person here. I wonder how much money they make. These people are so uneducated and closed-minded. This voice narrates and edits its perception of reality all the time, constantly feeding us its biased perspective, a perspective that we internalize and attribute as coming from me. But go a little deeper. If it is us, then why can't we just stop it and control it? If we don't want to hear it, Why won't it stop? Maybe the mind actually has an agenda of its own that is impersonal to us. Liberation is arising right now. Come deep into this moment with us now. Read these words and ask yourself, who is listening? Really, who is listening to these words as you read them to yourself, and who is reading for that matter? Is it the eyes? Perhaps the brain? The first place we might look to is the body. After all, we are these bodies, aren't we? But if we are the body, then why is it when our body changes with age or is altered through illness or accident, we don't feel any less me? We always feel the same sense of I. It is only the body that seems to change around us. With honest reflection, it seems what is more accurate is that we have a body like a biological vehicle we're using to move through life, but it is not who we truly are. So then who is reading and who is listening if not the body? How about the voice of the mind that's narrating? Isn't that me thinking? Aren't thoughts me talking to myself? But if we were our thoughts, how would we have an awareness of them? How could our mind be me if it is reading and processing the thoughts for something that is able to listen? There seems to be an unmoving awareness behind and in between the thoughts that is aware of thoughts. By analogy, it is only the background of silence that allows for sound to be heard. So we are the sound or the silence or both. There's something more. There's still another layer of our consciousness that we are overlooking. Who is even aware of all of this to begin with? Fundamentally, at our core, who is experiencing this human life? Who is processing thoughts, hearing them, and experiencing them? Who is experiencing this divine drama, taking in this reality we call life right now, to which we can't help but intuitively answer, I am. Is that not the name of God? Be still and know that I am. Liberation from the mind. Meet your mind. Don't believe everything you think. Until this point, you have most likely approached life believing that the mind's thoughts are yours and that everything you think is in fact you. A radical truth that we have not accepted as the species is we are not our thoughts. As long as you confuse thoughts as who you are, you can never actually be free, for you will remain controlled by them. If your thoughts tell you stories fueled with anger and competition, you become angry and competitive. If they spin stories of fear and paranoia, you panic and have anxiety. If they grovel in shame and regret, you become depressed, and so on, because we have never stopped to question our thoughts. We have in turn become obedient to them, so obedient that we even think we are the ones thinking them. We confuse thoughts as us. To question our thoughts would be to question our sense of reality and our sense of identity, maybe even our sanity. But you must have courage to keep exploring. This chapter may be uncomfortable for the mind because we are going to be exposing its tactics of defense. See the resistance clearly. There is so much more to you than what you think. This concept of watching your inner dialogue as an impersonal observer of it will reveal a theme of consciousness and cause an empowering shift within you. However, the ego mind will do everything it can to convince you to stay subservient to it. This is to be expected, of course, because you are challenging the mind's sense of control and igniting the awakening process. All heroes' journeys must go through a shattering of their old reality in order to step into their authentic one. Understand that the resistance of the mind is not out of some maniacal, sadistic behavior, but purely out of ignorance and naivety. It is not an actual enemy, only an inheritance of being born human, same as having a heart, lungs, arms, or legs. It is what it is. All references to the mind as an enemy throughout this book are simply to reveal that all perceptions of enemies are actually just the mind projected as that enemy, and so it may be useful in the initial stages of our awakening process to see the real enemy clearly so as to stop playing into its games of projection and distraction. From a higher perspective of love, the mind is like an innocent child and simply doesn't know any better, and it is ultimately doing what it believes will help it survive. It genuinely thinks it is doing what is best for you, even if it seems atrocious or horrific. It may be helpful to view the mind as an innocent machine or hardware going along with whatever inherited programs and software were installed into it. It literally does not have the ability to tell if a program is good or bad for it, just like a computer accepting a programmed virus without question. Thus, something greater than the mind has to become aware of what is being programmed and accepted. Commit now to becoming the watcher of your thoughts and utilize your observations to grow and change through the newfound awareness of the mind's incessant commentary. By paying attention to the quality of your inner dialogue, you will reveal your current theme of consciousness and your mind's root program beliefs associated with that theme. Remember, you are unconditionally loved and whole, even in the mind's confusion and wondering. You are not the theme of consciousness your mind has attached yourself to. By having compassion for yourself and surrendering to the notion that you are not your thoughts, you will be able to make it through this revealing process. All of us inherited an ego that we are all in this together. On the other side of the ego's discomfort is endless peace and freedom. Have courage. Rise to the occasion. This is your moment. For the one who has conquered the mind is the best of friends. But for the one who has failed to do so, the mind will be his greatest enemy.